Welcome to the 2021 Maggie Walker Senior Art Exhibition at Artworks Gallery. My name is Jeff Hall. This evening we're going to be live streaming this entire event, so I apologize because the opening as we were getting the tech set up. We'll be having speeches, artist talks throughout the evening, and we'll be highlighting our wonderful 13 young Maggie Walker art students. So we hope that you will come and enjoy. If you get a chance, if you can't be here tonight, that's okay. The gallery and the exhibition will be open until June 13th. We hope that you'll come down and see the show before it finishes. So thanks so much. And Nate, our cameraman, is going to be capturing all sorts of great scenes tonight. Azaria is your front is exactly 7 minutes. Nope, you're just going to speak to him and he's going to film you talking. All right, and you're going to be close enough, not weird close, but close enough to all the noise. There's a chance that she's going to pick a man up. So I will make sure Anna's here. All right, and then after Azaria is Ria. Ria's right over there. So I'd like to introduce Azaria Mosby, who's going to be talking about her art. Azaria?
Hi, my name is Azaria Mosby, and I am a senior in Art 4, and I kind of wanted to give a little bit of background behind my art. So I'm very fascinated with architecture, and I'm one that's like always has my head in the clouds. I love sleeping. So I kind of decided, hey, why don't I just like combine everything that I love? So I started off last year with this paper sculpture. This is a sculpture made of cardboard, where I kind of wanted to give my personal image of like how I view architecture in general. So I kind of like made it a beautiful design where architectural building which represents the missing appreciation for architecture that's so fading away. But I painted it in gold so like you can see that it's real beauty that is going to waste. And as you can see here, I did a painting I wanted to explore what mediums I like using. So I decided to go more in the architectural direction. As you can see with this picture, I did a painting of the Leaning Tower of Pisa because I wanted to play with the textures. And so right here you can see the heavy gel coming up like on the column here. I wanted to make it more textural. So as I did that, I decided I wanted to work architecture more in the round. So I decided to start with a few. Kind of when I started going to the inside of my head series. So this one is called Memories, and it basically reminds me of the kindergarten classroom. It has a playful theme. So I have like four basic colors: red, yellow, green, and blue. And it has like some rounded edges. Kind of reminds me of walking into a daycare or nursery. Kindergarten classroom, you just see all the fun and playful, useful things that you would remember seeing in class. I decided to keep that series going. So we go from memories down the line to daydream. Because I can relate to this a lot. I do daydream a lot. So I kind of like wanted to also play around with more organic forms. And a lot of my sculptures are inspired by Henry Moore. As you can see, a lot of his paintings and his sculptures do a lot of interacting. And it has a lot of creative space going on. So I kind of wanted to play a lot with that. So I have like a lot of holes going on here. And in the center, I have two pieces that are kind of almost hugging each other. And I did the same thing. Has like a mom figure and a child here. This one is golden mindset. It shows like the difference between like the maturity and the youth when they're kind of interacting with each other. And then you have here my last one. So I wanted to add more color, and this one kind of captures the image that I have in my head when I like wake up and I think of something, or if I like try to remember a dream I had or a thought that like I just walk into the room and I completely forgot why I came in there. This is kind of like what I picture in my head. So this is me playing with different textures and forms again, and we have the negative space here. So how does this tie all into architecture? So as I go to school, I plan on going to school to study architecture, and in the future, I actually want to try and create buildings with like these interesting forms that would still work. Because I also like studying culture, and I've noticed like in other like ancient cultures and stuff, they have like these rounded forms, and it looks very interesting to me. So I kind of wanted to contribute like what I did with these sculptures and try to make that more modern. And hopefully that will be very successful. Thank you for listening to the art. actually was the other way around. So I went from color to gold because at first I just kind of wanted to like have that last like these two were actually the first two. Because I just wanted to like that so kind of like you're young or it's like forget something. It's like glasses color like without returning to you and this is when the same concept like thought kind of coming back and I kind of see that in a way in the color. That makes sense. But then like when I went to the gold one, I kind of wanted to make it more like beautiful and texture looking. So these ones like the more mature type of sculptures and things. That's why I kind of had it like in a straight gold theme. But this one is not great. Breaks away from reality, which is why this one is the mainstream sculpture. Kind of like zoning out in the middle. So I kind of want to incorporate both. Just like not what I did in those two.
Good evening. Next up, we have Ria Bakshi, who will be talking about her paintings, drawings, and sculptures.
Thank you. Hi guys. My name. Hello guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. My name is Ria Bakshi, and I'm in Art 5. I'm Maggie Walker. As you can probably tell, I primarily work in sculptures. They're kind of this one scattered that way. And the main reason I really love working with sculpture is because it's something that you kind of put your whole body into. You're kind of elbow deep in wet plaster, in modeling compound, in wire mesh. And it's a really enjoyable process, especially because a lot of my pieces are kind of non-objective. So it's kind of up to me to make them what I kind of want to see, and kind of up to you guys to kind of how you want to be. And a lot of that process is also understanding and kind of working with the material as opposed to fighting against it, which is another part of it I really enjoy. My work is mostly inspired by the ruins that I visited in my travels, mostly in Italy. I visited the Roman Forum in Rome, as well as Hadrian's Villa, kind of more in the countryside, also in Italy. And most of my work, I've captured that interestingly unique feeling where you're standing in the middle of a space and it's completely barren around you. The walls are crumbling, the floor is scattered. You can see the foundations peeking through. But while you're standing there, you kind of know that this was once a kitchen, this was once a bedroom, this was once a courtyard. There were people here, there was life here, there was a lot going on here. So with my work, I kind of try to mimic that. So I try to do that with my content and then the shapes that I make. So the shapes that I make, as you can kind of tell, I try to kind of emulate spaces that people live in. So maybe they kind of look like houses, little huts. This one's kind of a skyscraper. So I try to push that that kind of homely atmosphere with the shapes I use. As you can kind of see, some of the crevices look a little bit like windows you can peek into. Some of the archways, almost like a small person could walk through. Some of the zigzag lines, a little bit almost like a staircase. But then on the other hand, I try to push that opposite narrative where the material I use is completely white, it's kind of barren, it's kind of rugged. So that's kind of most of the content of my work, trying to make something that feels familiar, but also not familiar. So my favorite pieces are kind of these three that are over here, kind of spread out. My favorite one is this one. I so cleverly named them number 1, 2, and 3, because I'm just creative like that. And what I really enjoy about these pieces is that they were the first pieces that I kind of started making in my sculpture process. So I feel like you can really see a lot of growth from piece 1 over there to like piece 3. And with these pieces specifically, I really tried to make a point to create spaces and forms that feel kind of recognizable and that work together and kind of interlock to create one bigger piece, so that from every angle that you look at it, it's kind of interesting and there's another new thing you can discover. With these pieces in particular, the reason I included the pink pebbles was kind of to further that contrast between the white barren foundations that kind of lay beneath, and then symbolically the life that once was there. You can see it in the crevices, you can peek under and kind of look into it, and you see that it really pulls the whole space together. One thing that I definitely learned through my art making process, and also just sculpture in general, is the importance of repetition and the importance of trying over and over and over again until you get that right combination, until you get the form that just perfectly falls into place, until you get that piece that finally looks cohesive. And that's definitely something that I will be taking with me later in life. The importance of trying over and over again and not being afraid of mixing it up. And my process, I make them, or if you have content, I love to ask them. This one was really
It's very different. I think
Any idea where Anna is? It's okay. Good evening again. I'd like to introduce our next artist. This is Helen Hall. Talk about her piece.
Hi everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Helen Hall. I'm a senior at Art 5. So that means I've been working on my art for about 2 years now. And I really just wanted to let you guys know a little bit more about my work. So some of you guys know me, and if you do, you know I absolutely love food. Food has just always been a constant in my life. So it makes sense that it seems to be a constant in my work. Another thing, I'm going to start chronologically. Some of you might know that I've always liked codes. Some of you are my close friends, and I've tried to force you to learn Pigpen code. So I tried to incorporate both the food and the code sometime last year in this piece, which is titled Tart. And so what I did is I arranged the fruit to say tart in Pigpen code, which, in case some of you guys don't know, it's the one with the grids and the X's and the dots. So it spells out T-A-R-T. So I really just wanted to do a combination of these two interests of mine to kind of start out my artwork about food. And funny enough, I'll give my mom some credit. She did actually a few years ago. I always struggled about what am I going to make art about, and she almost always was like, Helen, you love food, make art about food. And it took me like 3 years to get here, but here I am. So the next pieces I wanted to focus on are all about flavor. Hold on. So let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Okay, so does anyone here eat lemons? Okay, I see about 3 people. Well, that's great for you. I didn't know that was a thing, but I tried to, you know that feeling when you bite into something sour like a lemon? Well, I tried to depict that in this piece right here, featuring Kathleen, my wonderful model. And until right now, I thought that she actually liked to eat lemons. Apparently, I was mistaken. So thank you for subjecting yourself to that. But so through these pieces, I really wanted to focus on emphasizing flavor through both my compositional kind of cropping and also the bright, bold colors that I use. So the first piece I did is this one right here, which is salty with a barbecue chip. And then I did sweet with a chocolate chip cookie, which is not pictured. And then I did bitter, and that's Emma as the model, and that was with dark chocolate. And then I did sour with Kathleen and the lemon. And then my last piece is umami with Kennedy Jackson as the model. And in case you don't know what umami is, I tried to do the 5 main tastes. It is officially corresponding to the flavor of glutamates, but most people describe it as a savory or meaty taste, and in Japanese, it actually means the essence of deliciousness, which I didn't know until I looked it up, so in case you wanted to know. And so for these pieces, I switched to acrylic from the colored pencil, and I also, as you can see, I hope, as I worked through my pieces, I got better at painting flesh tones, something that I really, really wanted to get better at. Okay, so after I did this series, which was a big thing of this year, I really wanted to make work that's about how food is really important to me, and that's through memory. So the first thing I thought about with food and memory is sitting in Friendlies with my grandparents, both Mimi and Mima and Papa, and really just enjoying. My sister and I would change out what kind of food we get, but we would almost always get the Monster Mash. So hopefully some of you have tried this at Friendlies. Anyone raise your hands? Okay, there's a few people, good, because it makes more sense if you know what it is. But it's mint chocolate chip ice cream with 2 M&M eyes, a cherry nose, and Reese's as the ears. So I just really was interested in the idea of food being memory, because I feel like so many of my favorite moments are tied into food. So the first time I got to ride a gondola in Italy, I remember having the chocolate gelato, or in Verano, this beautiful, colorful town in Italy. Once again, Italy. I just remember having the seafood risotto. So I just feel like food's a really great way to tie into memory. So that's really just what I started to focus on for these pieces. And I also was playing with the idea of, hold on, I have the word exactly. Pareidolia, which is when you see faces and things. And I realized so many of your childhood foods have faces in them, which I thought was such actually an amazing way to show emotion through food. So that's another theme that I'm really going to be focusing on in the future, and maybe even displaying emotions other than just a smiley face. So maybe exploring different variations of that. So that's almost the end of my presentation. And although unfortunately we do not have food here tonight, much to my dismay, I really just want to appreciate all of you guys for coming out. And I hope you can maybe remember some of your memories through food, through my artwork pieces. And that, well, corny, that I hope my pieces leave a sweet taste in your mouth.
I'm sorry, I just had to keep out the market. Next up, we have Shreya Malani, who will be talking about her mom. Shreya?
Hi guys, my name is Shreya Malani, and welcome and thank you for coming. So I come from a really large family. I grew up thinking that my mom had 24 sisters and 7 pairs of grandparents. When in reality, she only had that many first cousins and ensembles. And so throughout my childhood, I frequently flipped through photo albums and pointed at a familiar face and said, "Who's this?" And through that repeated affair, I realized that more often than not, I could deduce who what I was related to and who I wasn't through simply facial similarities. And so I recently learned in my math modeling class that there's a concept called 6 degrees of separation. And so scientists created this theory that through acquaintances and friend-to-friend relationships, every single person in the world is related by 6 people. And you can find a random person in Japan and someone like Maggie Walker, and through 6 people, they will be somehow connected. And so, although this wasn't my initial inspiration, it was the perfect concept to mold my work around. And as I've grown over the years as an artist, I've learned that artists tend to depict people and their stories in infinite ways. And my most recent work, and a majority of the paintings that hang on this wall, deal with individuals and the differences between their ethnicities and familial relationships. So I have a small obsession with talent. I sat down 2 years ago, my sophomore year, on a DC trip with Miss Mosley at the National Gallery of Art, and I sat down in front of a Hans Hofmann painting and just stared at it for, I think, a good 10 minutes. And from that moment on, I became obsessed with the idea of recreating his organic type of paintings. And so by using palette knives and oil painting techniques, I was able to create portraits for more of a loose, gestural, and kind of unfinished piece of work. So to start with an example, I want to talk about these 2 pieces, Anaya and Nani. These are 2 relatives on my mom's side of the family. That is my grandmother, and that's my little cousin. And so as I was planning these pieces, I was just flipping through a photo album, and I came across 2 photographs, and I was astounded by the personality similarities that I could find through photographs. And so I decided that I chose 2 photos with the same kind of soft smile, and I decided to make corresponding portraits to kind of enhance that connection. And so although I usually use a knife, this actually dealt with a brush technique, but I still kind of kept that connection by using the same underlying color scheme. And so a piece that's more familiar with my style is Lost in Contemplation. And so this is more an exploration of knife style and applying paint in a way that would transform a regular face to have more devotion and emotion and dimension. As an artist, beyond the content of my pieces, I actually take a lot of pleasure in exploring just paint, medium, and the type of art that I'm using and the medium that I'm working on. So a lot of my pieces of portraits start with me asking Coach, "Hey, I saw this on Instagram," or "Oh, I saw this on TikTok," or "Oh, I think I saw this at the BMFA," and he's like, "Run with it, Shreya." Sorry, too. And so in this particular piece, I had recently, like as of 3 days ago, developed inspiration from super obscure things, whether it's a piece of cutlery at my friend's house or the shirt that my Uber driver is wearing. I have small inspirations that I just run with, as Coach said. And so I have more of a go with the flow process where everyone around me, including my teachers and peers, is super stressed about my artistic process, whereas I'm like, eh. And so I kind of just go with the plan and I sit down in front of a blank canvas at 9 p.m. and I play some random playlist and then I kind of just vibe for the following 8 to 9 hours, which leads to my all-nighter paintings. And so this painting, Sepia S, is actually a monochromatic piece of my best friend, Ria Bakshi. And I think this was one of the first paintings where I focused on actually taking the photograph itself, which kind of forced me to realize, oh, what do I want this piece to mean? Like, why do I care that I'm painting this person? I love you. And so I kind of went over to her house, her sister's standing right there, and I was like, okay, do this, choke your neck. Like, and I made them stand in really awkward positions with the cold on their porch, and I took a billion pictures. And I settled on this, and again, in a couple nights, I painted this, and I realized that I love working on wood, purely because the rawness of the wood medium allowed me to kind of show vulnerability and showcase the transparency that I was looking for while I was trying to paint all those other portraits earlier in the year. And so my exploration of wood started, and I decided that I wanted to start a series where I kind of painted my friends and focused on different facial similarities or even differences. And so through a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of FaceTimes with Coach, and a lot of critiques in person, I'm still learning and I'm kind of growing my artistic process every day. And so next year I'm off to UVA. And so hopefully I take a couple art classes and hopefully I will paint this summer. And I think that the best thing about me going into this next chapter of my life is that I'm going to meet new people and I'm going to have new experiences. And so those 6 degrees of separation still stand. I get to meet these people and they will still somehow be related to people that I've met in the past. And so from that, my work just grows and I get to paint more people and more stories.
We're going to be right here. And next up, we have Rylan Karjane talking about her painting. Rylan?
Hi, my name is Rylan. I'm 5. So I have a question to start with. Has anybody seen the TV show Hannibal? But you're in luck because you might understand this. So my work is a love letter to NBC's Hannibal. It didn't start out that way, but when I sat back to understand my work as a whole, I found really connections and ideas circulating back to Hannibal. And I realized that most of my work derived from oceans and concepts I got watching. When I work, I draw inspiration from the things around me, especially when I watch artistic TV shows. And my brain picks up on little motifs that I like and want to incorporate into my work. When I was first watching Hannibal, I really fell in love with the 17th section of the sailor who sees one who's the mushrooms and the crazy ramblings of one of the most obsessed serial killers inspired me to make the painting with more of his mind. Covered in mushrooms, so like an organism covered in mushrooms and rock activity. So yeah, that inspired me to make these paintings. I can describe my perception of mental illness and identity throughout all of the therapy sessions, especially in one of the characters losing his mind and another character believing that she is dead. So I tried to infuse these into my work with blank eyes and dark backgrounds. The combination of the mushrooms and the photons syndrome, which is like when you think of dead, it's really inspired this piece. My math series were inspired by a conversation Hannibal had with his therapist, where she observes him hiding himself from the world, dressing up in his very own person suit. The conversation gave me conceptual inspiration for these paintings. And then a character in season 3 who has really disfigured face and tries to take the face of another person in the show. And that made me think of like wearing faces and masks. So I'm not sure where my art will head in the future, but I'm proud of what has been produced. And if anybody is curious, Hannibal is on Netflix, but it is going to be moved today. So yeah, but it's very violent. If you want to watch it, you can enjoy.
You are in the right place. And next up this evening, we have the lovely, well, lovely, is that the right word? Sure. Can we call them lovely? They're lovely in their own unique way. They're very unique and distinct. We have Cooper Tsow. Cooper?
Hey there, my name is Cooper Tsow. I'm a senior.
You are right underneath the speaker, so just know you're going to want to really project.
All right. Hey there, I'm Cooper Tsow. All right, so this is my artwork that I'll be showing this evening. It all kind of started out with this comic on the right here, Balance. I made this after I was kind of dissatisfied with a long list of projects I had in high school to make comic strips. So I wanted to make one that was actually like good. And for a long time, I've always been obsessed with the idea of balance. And that's something that people hold themselves to, be it symmetry, some sort of like balancing their moralities, etc. So I was wondering what the logical extent of that mindset would be. So I made this character. He's a monk. He does an equally good action for every bad action and vice versa. And so he ends up saving a butterfly and having to kill a caterpillar as a result. And I found that a very fun process to work on. I did it entirely in ink wash, and that was in part inspired by Takahiko Inoue, the mangaka for Vagabond. It's a really great series. And I was really satisfied at the end of it. But I didn't really find it like too much of an emotional project that I could relate to outside of the process of making it. I feel like it's kind of like this almost standoffish. So I decided to make just today, which is the next comic. I did this one just in pen and ink. It's a much simpler comic to make. And I made it based off of my everyday thoughts, which at the time I was thinking of, what are like some mild fears and anxieties? And well, it's not that when packing up an eggs, it'd be really horrifying for a chicken egg to fall out. So I made it in the comic based on it. I found like this disturbing, horrific imagery to be really relatable. Like everyone feels unnerved in the same way. It's an interesting reaction to view people. So I kind of continued the series just by drawing random mouths of myself. I just took close-crop photos of my own mouth and then made them slightly uncanny with little twists. The mouth on the left, I had unnatural textures and this big slobbering tongue. The mouth on the right, I gave mouths inside of the mouth to kind of make it a bit freakish. I've been having a very fun time drawing. I've been continuing that kind of series, making more mouths and whatnot. But I've also been going back and working on like other mediums I've been exploring throughout the year. In particular, I've been working on spray paint stencil stuff. That's been a very fun change of pace. But anyways, I wanted to keep it brief, so that's all. Over there.
Good backbeat on this. I like this. Like,
Yeah, Thank you.
Okay, is everybody here? That's what I mean. Everybody else is on. All right. What a night. We've had so many great artist talks. We have one more, and then we're going to take a little pause until 7:30. And then we'll start them back up again at 8. So please, we hope you're sticking around. And we have, I haven't looked to see how many millions of followers we have happening on Facebook right now. But our next talk is Elizabeth Celentano, who will be talking about her wonderful drawings and sculptures. And you're going to have to get lots of different angles at for this book. So Elizabeth.
Thank you. So my name is Elizabeth, and my work explores how perceptions of home interact with color and emotion. So the first work I'm talking about is this one, Living Space. And I have always been fascinated by how our perceptions of intangible and tangible qualities interact with our emotions in a sort of here, photography, digital art, to acrylic color, with Prismacolor, and this, I really felt comfortable in my craft. I enjoy Prismacolor because of the level of control I have over it. But I prefer to vote rather than using just a photo because it just feels like more my own work if I have my own hands and the process is much more gratifying. With this piece, I wanted to explore the balance between our mind versus our body, being our true home of emotion and art. I chose to use the surrealist juxtaposition of the house embedded in the figure to show how these two separate symbols can be part of a whole. So the next piece I'm talking about, everyone's gonna have to like short this shit because it's this piece right here. Sorry, it's an awkward space, but I make it work. So this piece is Living Space Redesigned. And it is an extension of Living Space. And I began this work with the intention of really diving deeper into surrealism by synthesizing house imagery with the bodily organs. And I again decided to use Prismacolor and work from a reference photograph of a heart. And I chose to use a heart for this piece because in my past works, I really focused on like the head aspect and like thinking and how emotions can reside in your mind. But I wanted to sort of flip the perspective a little bit in how people think of the heart as like the place where your emotions are. So I wanted to sort of explore that part of it. And then my most recent work is right here. So this is called Overwhelmed by Emotion. And it is a clear departure from the rest of my works because this is 3D. All of my other ones so far have been two-dimensional. I've always really thought sculpture was super impressive and interesting, but also really daunting. I've made an attempt early on in the year at a sculpture, and it did not turn out great, and I was very unsatisfied with the finished product. It pushed me to try again and to sort of explore all the themes I had been working on in a new way. So it is important to me, as I said, to have my own hand in the work, so I kept the form very simple when I was making these because I really wanted to focus on craft. My goal for this piece was to give a new meaning to the space emotions occupied by physically creating it. And each house is dominated by an emotion as represented by the paint spilling from the inside. And as you may notice, these are the same colors I used in Living Space to represent the emotions. I wanted to capture that specific point when you're feeling such an intense emotion that it seems to sort of overwhelm you and overtake your whole being, no matter how hard you try to confine or hide it. This also connects to my use of the acrylic paint pour, because while my other works are very neat and controlled, I also acknowledge that emotions usually are very messy, and we can't always control it. So that sort of medium is a way to. So while you look at my works, I challenge you to focus inwardly and ask your emotions occupy within you. To use the house metaphor, do some emotions have a bigger room than others? How often do you let your emotions overwhelm you and overflow? I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Any other questions?
just want to double check everything is still good. I just want to make sure that you're still recording. Everything's good. Should be working. Okay, one more time. Should be all good. Yep. Excellent. Perfect. I'm gonna do a talk at 7:30. All right. I know that will be over your time. If you can stick around for like 10 minutes for me to do my talk, and then show the next person, who is going to be no, not the next person you're training to use that. I can't remember who that is. So we'll figure that out. All right. Okay. Yeah.
you have like blue wood and first the staples and then the bits of the wood that are always there.
Audrey is going to be taking photographs, but you really have to hold it steady and make sure that there's enough that you can hear. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then I will kind of grab you and be on the lookout for you to be like, oh, hey, I need you to go film, because they're pretty much 10 minutes at a clip. Okay? When you're not filming them talking, what I want you to do is go around and like film the artwork and film the people looking at the artwork.
Okay.
Just something that, like, if you're watching on YouTube for 3 hours, that way you would actually want to watch.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. Very good. Don't drop it. If something goes wrong, find me.
Is there any way to get the image to fit over here?
You look over here.
Oh, yeah.
So like, where am I going?
You're going to go over to Ada's in the corner, near the corner gallery. So if you head that away, that would be perfect.
Okay.
What is that? I don't know where I'm going. I know. I don't understand. Hello.
Ready for what I'll do. And I've lost my speech, so I gotta figure out who's after me. So she'll talk, and you just get nice and close. You gotta be kind of wedge your way in there.
All right.
And I'm gonna. Oh, we gotta get your parents.
I know. I'm not leaving. How close is too close?
Close enough that you can hear her.
Okay.
All right, and with all the background noise, it's kind of great.
Not too hard for the
I
face.
forgot your last name for a second. So next up we have Ada Rigsby.
Hi, my name is Ada Rigsby, and through my art, I explore the complex relationship between chaos and order. More specifically, I play around with these two concepts and how they interact in both the world and myself through the use of circles in my artistic work. A few years ago, one of the art teachers at Maggie Walker ordered adjustable hole punchers, and although my previous work has featured circles as well, after using these hole punchers for the first time, small paper dots have really driven my work and exploration. As you can probably see, they are now featured in almost all of my work. I think I'm so drawn to these smaller circles because at first glance they look so simple, but as if they are solid color. But if you actually look closer, it is apparent they were once part of a bigger image, as they were all cut out from like magazine pages. Honestly, I feel like this need for deeper investigation applies to at least my own perception of the ideas of chaos and order as well. They, either together or apart, are undoubtedly a part of every aspect of life, but that isn't always clear immediately. One of my pieces from earlier this year is this book with a white cover titled Unfolding. I made a few other books at the beginning of the year, but this one I decided to tie into my body of work as a whole. When you first look through the pages, it gives the illusion that all of the pages are blank, but when the pages are actually unfolded, a larger page with all the dots that I've seen in the other work, cut from magazine pages are revealed. In my mind, the first flip through the book represents order, while what is revealed after deeper investigation corresponds to chaos. This could all represent that there is chaos within all order, but really it is up for interpretation. These two pieces act as a pair, simply titled Chaos and Order, and they are multi-layered pieces actually made from parchment paper. The first layer consists of paint on parchment paper, while the second layer is like the gridded plastic. Next is more paper with graphite, and again, the small paper dots. Made obvious by the titles, the green piece represents order, while the other represents chaos. With these two pieces, there can be contrast with the implication that they almost fit together, and I decided the best way to achieve that would be to play around with the negative and positive space. The last piece that I'll talk about is the mainly black and white circle with a smaller area. I made the design of this piece using a spirograph, which is basically a very mathematical and geometric drawing tool. And again, this piece features the juxtaposition between chaos and order, as can be seen in the contrast between the precision within the spirograph drawings and the swirl of the die. I like to think of this piece as representing, similar to my book, the idea that chaos can be found within order and vice versa. Beyond these pieces, I hope to continue to make art in the future. I'm not sure that it will necessarily be related to chaos and order or even circles, but I feel confident I will use it as a form of exploration, just like I have these last couple of years. Although I don't necessarily feel like I've found the exact answer to how chaos and order coexist, or why I'm so truly obsessed with circles, I do feel like I've learned a lot simply about play and exploration and what you can achieve through them. As you all reflect on these pieces, I hope you're able to apply this duality that I've explored to your own lives, or maybe just the world around us.
On my way.
Thank you. This is for all your hard work. Well, this year was a weird year. I'll admit that.
Let's be honest. Okay, got it. They're on there. Got it.
Here's the camera.
Oh.
So you can talk to them, and I will send you a little bit of a speaker here, so you have to really project. Okay. So next up, our next artist is Emma Lindley. Yeah, that's the computer. So I'm so proud of myself.
Hi, everybody. I am Emma Lindley. I am a senior in art floor, and my work kind of explores my connection with nature and with emotions of joy and wonder. I've always felt a real connection to nature. I love the sounds and sights, the smells of nature. I always find myself kind of in a sense of wonder when I'm out in nature. So I wanted to portray that in my art. For me, the thing that can portray the richness of nature is royalty. So I kind of started off here with declaration of royalty. Royalty express joy, pain, tension, and wonder, and also balance and peace, especially are connected issues. Brushes and orbital. So these experimentations, since I'm an art school, I only really had a year to do my own projects. So I had some exploration with mark making along the way. I started off with more smooth brush stroke. Then I went on to using a palette knife to create movement and form. And then I used brush, little dabs, and pieces. But as you can see, these three pieces, something that connects them all, are the themes of color, texture, and movement. So that's something you'll see in all of my pieces, including the pen and ink sample. And so, reflecting on this kind of mark making and the idea of texture and color, I kind of reflected once I got halfway through the year, and I realized that I really enjoy working with ink. I love the drama that it can create on white paper. The contrast is really nice. And it allows me to work in landscape in a more detailed manner that I'm just not able to do with this kind of texture. So I was able to work very detailed on this first piece. This is a piece that portrays the window, right where I took virtual Zoom classes all year. I would look out this window, kind of wish I was outside instead of taking the school virtually. So this kind of adds an element of actually a window of the art room at Maggie Walker, and it looks out on this great big tree that I thought was really stunning. And so something that was really important to me in these is the idea of man-made versus organic. So we have a geometric man-made patterns in the window and organic forms of the trees, the branches, and so this is again really important to me as I'm going to go into architecture as I move into college. And something that's really good about architecture is studying kind of the interaction between green space, environment, and between yourself and structure. So that's something that I want to continue to work with, to continue to iterate on as I move on to college. And I just hope you all enjoy this event. There's some amazing artists here. And again, I hope you guys enjoy maybe some wondering from art pieces and from the art pieces of others. Hope you all have a fantastic night.
Y'all leaving? Yeah. Okay, see ya. I'm not following him in it.
Did you see Miss Moses here? You want me to talk to Miss Moses? I haven't had a chance to talk to her. I know you're gonna love to hear this. I want you to get nice and close.
Okay. Probably just.
Would you please, for me?
I don't know where he is.
If you know what it looks like?
I do, but I think he might have left.
Okay, well, we're going to video it. So for Dad, we're going to video
All right.
it on there. So let me introduce you. Our next artist for the evening is Grace Saunders. So Grace?
Hi guys, my name is Ria Saunders, and I create works in a variety of media, but mostly textile. My work is I'll talk about these in order to express content. What it's best to keep is my work is courses. Before I do the content, I knew I wanted to sew a corset because I wanted a project that was telling my sewing and the idea from there. Well, obviously, they aren't always restrictive. They often can be. It's what you think at first when you think about corsets. Corsets traditionally trap the body, so the fabric is covered in the kind of scribbles you might see on a silent wall in a movie. The clothing is the cage. The content of the work is enhanced by the form of the work, even though it's not a sculpture. This principle is evident in several ways. Second, my work explores the modification and reclamation of the body. For instance, my first study process for mostly pictures girls trapped in boxes. My dad has always been music creative, so he has a huge collection of old cassette tapes in our basement. When I saw this, my immediate thought was how great they would be for art project. I really enjoy collage, so I decided to recreate layers and use miniature collage. If you look at most of the boxes, they look girls whose bodies are chopped up or covered or blinded or exploding with flowers. Body costumes for profit. So I wanted to create a fair expression of how the body can be turned into art. I think my pink dress, which is over there, is the perfect combination of both of these ideas. I wanted to create a silky, feminine, hot pink dress, something pretty and soft in silhouette and construction. I was originally inspired by a hot pink Adidas ski jacket my mom found in the closet. I guess I should thank my parents because it seems like half the materials in my collection came from the continent they didn't interview the next. However, if I tried to use that as fabric for the dress, I think this project would have been a bit too scandalous. I altered the jacket to change the silhouette, but I still really wanted to use it somehow. For the dress, I bought my own electric pink satin, and sewed a dress with most men automatically assumed she needed that. Then I went wild with black fabric paint until it was covered in screens, just daring someone to cut. Subtle is not good in this case. The end result is the embodiment of feminine aggression, while the canvas is anything but. The form of the dress contributes to the content reclaiming the female body. I truly love collage and sewing, so I'll definitely continue to do growth in my career next year. But I don't know if it'll be for fun or for art. Thank you for listening.
We were in art class together. My arms hurt. My arms hurt. Oh my god.
It's I just like working. The juniors put on this every year, and so I just like working here.
Yeah. Kind of like. I don't know when they're.
Well, I can do that. I call this. He's gonna edit all the time.
Can I come video the table?
Yeah, I'll see
Alright.
why not. Ran out of the most popular like gift cards.
Which one? There's 3 left. There's 3 people left. I've done 3 so far. Oh, I think someone.
Grab Anika. And so it's Anika. Anika's over there. Look at it. So it's Anika, and then we've got this girl's not going to be talking tonight, so then we're going to get a Julianne. And I'm going to see whether or not Julianne is there. Mr. Rigsby, thanks so much for coming tonight. Oh, I don't ever know.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna feel bad if I like miss someone. I'm trying to go around to everyone.
No, I mean Hannah's not Hannah. Anna. There were 2. Okay, I thought it was Hannah. Anna was on the camera. Anna, I got
Someone was on me.
somebody. Okay, Anna was on all those cameras.
I'm being stolen.
Like I'm breaking some laws. So our next artist tonight. Oh, I know. We don't want to be. We want to be able to hear her. Not everybody. It's fast. We got. Come on in, so you can hear. All right. Our next artist and next to last artist is Anika Kalluri.
Hi, for coming. I'm Anika Kalluri, and I'm a senior in art core. My art centers around the special elements that I can create with I choose my own perspective to transform a scene and dreamlike atmosphere that creates. As a kid, I was always fascinated with the way life could kind of change, blurring my vision to make these art forms, or by switching my eyes into the sun to make something. I found this hard to properly display, so I made a visual piece to kind of show that. And it kind of shows like, the ways the forms in the background kind of blur together. From this, I've pulled a lot of the elements I really liked, like the ways that the dark and light forms blend together in the background. This spectral orbs that hang in the front, and I made a series of digital works that we played on those elements and brought together other ones. And brought together some of the different things that I was seeing where I could change color and form based on environment and lighting. For example, if the room was a different color, then it would be like an entirely different image that I was seeing than usual, or if I looked at it differently, then everything would be different. At the same time, I was also working with painting. He started out as something that was completely separate from my digital pieces, but they started to take on some of the same spectral elements that you can see in the digital pieces. So in the just like spectral auras or in the background that can be the same size of the a lot more loosely and let the materials really take over and guide my work. And so first I like to sketch out my faces before I start painting, but and to sketch out the general composition and some of the major elements before I covered all from there, and those together for dusty engravings. And I really enjoy working with engravings and paints together because those two are contrasting colors, and so we can work together, mix them, and make them appear like each other. But I blend them as I blending that I really like doing that because they're colors that we can really expect to see blend together, but it's really brought to that like atmosphere. In this piece, I started to work on using a style that encompasses a range of realistic and abstract techniques. And if anyone's interested, you can take the closer look later tonight, but you can really see it in the way the more realistic flowers in the background are overlaid with this abstract outline. And I did my paintings continue to use some of the spectral elements that I was actually able to see the way I did in the digital paintings, but I also brought in a lot of elements that I couldn't see that are also adding to this dreamlike atmosphere, like these translucent shapes and like the cover everything up with create my art. Through my art, I work to capture structural elements in real life as well as the ones that don't really exist. These elements hang in the corners of our vision all the time, but we train ourselves to we block out all of these small tricks of light and add layers until they're almost invisible and we don't notice them. So I try to portray these almost magical elements somehow. Thank you.
Can you do that? That's fair. Is that the right volume?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, good.
5%.
Yeah. You can see like the spine of it says 3, but it's 5 and 6 is the way it is. Yeah. Yeah. I leave my arms. I know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it reflects the society. Yeah.
All right, guys, come back and go next, but I'm going to go ahead and Julianne.
You better be loud.
I know, it's really loud in here. Are you ready? Please just you walk away.
Oh, no, we're gonna listen.
I'm going to see if I can get to your last thing like I did every time. So our last artist talk of the evening is Julianne.
Hi, my name is Julianne Zielinski, as you just said, and as you can tell from my wall of canvases, I'm a really big fan of abstract expressionism and non-objective work. Throughout my years as an art student, I've used art to express events in my day-to-day life that I don't really know how to express with words. And each of my paintings tell a full story, as none of these were completed in just a day. Each layer is a reflection of my life at the time that I painted it. And as each layer builds up, the story is written. However, it may not be clear to any of you guys what the story is. That's my favorite. If you look at words, you can feel anything you want to feel, and you have the opportunity to read my painting in a completely different way than any of the people that are standing next to you. That's the beauty of it. You probably noticed the build-up of texture and sharp marks as a trend throughout some of these paintings. And I've always aimed to create very natural, unique marks in my pieces, and using regular paintbrushes never really allowed me to achieve that. In a way, palette knives do some of the work for me. Another one of my techniques that you might notice, and maybe this piece or one of the pieces on the far end, is that as I build up the layers of the painting, I keep all the colors that I've been using on my palette knife. One day I decided that I didn't feel like cleaning off my palette knife, and it turned into a pretty happy accident. This allows me to create marks with multiple colors that are found throughout my piece to pull everything together in the end, as a way to tie a bow around the story. I recently added texture in the things to elevate my marking. While these are techniques I try to incorporate in all of my paintings, none of them end up being the same. I try to play around with composition, my focal point, the surface, and my use of positive and negative space in my paintings every time I approach a canvas. Typically, no planning is involved, but I have a more of an intuitive mentality coming to a canvas, as a way to not suppress the feelings and emotions that I have to express every time I paint. And I hope you enjoy the stories that you see.
What's your favorite abstract or abstract painter?
Recently, his name is blanking, but there's one specific person that I took a lot of inspiration from. Okay. Oh, yes. She's one I saw before.
I think I'm almost done. Hopefully. That was a lot of talent. I think I'm gonna go in there.
You still have to walk around.
Yeah. Oh.
They're facing each other.
Can you tell the subject? Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I can see.
All right. New camera woman?
Camera woman.
Wow. Nice job. I don't know what I'm doing now. There's no more talk. So I'm kind of walking around. Oh, what? I'll talk to him in a second. I'll talk to him in a second. My arms hurt. I'm okay, I'll survive. I'm better at this than I am with other stuff. Okay.
Thank you all so much for attending tonight. This is the 2021 Maggie Walker Senior Art Exhibition, and Enchanted is